Good afternoon, student. Good afternoon, student. My name is Mr. Abalaji Shobande. You are welcome for government class. Today's class, we're going to talk about parliamentary system of government. Remember the last time we had class was last week, and we delved extensively. We discussed the same word, presidential system of government. So today's class is going to be on parliamentary system of government. So when you talk about parliamentary system of government, this is a system of government in which the head of state is distinct from the head of government, meaning the head of state performs ceremonial function, while the head of government performs what? Executive function. And Nigeria practiced this system in the year 1960 to 1966, in which late Alhaji Tafawa Balewa became the first and only Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Having said that, we look at it very well, parliamentary does not fly overnight into Nigeria. So parliamentary was actually practiced in some countries too, the likes of what? Great Britain, Australia, and sometimes country that has what? Monarchical form of government, that is ruled by a king or queen, sometimes practice what? Parliamentary system of government. Because the queen exercise what? Real executive power. Exercise what? The queen, the monarch, exercise what? Real executive power. What do you call it? UK is an example of what? Parliamentary system of government. Whose head of state is what? Is a monarch. Now, having said that, like I said earlier on, however, if an election is conducted and there is absence of clear-cut winner, coalition government becomes inevitable. I repeat, when an election is conducted and there is absence of overwhelming victory recorded in an election, coalition government becomes inevitable. What is coalition government? That is coming together of two or more political parties to form the ruling government as a result of what? Absence of clear-cut victory recorded by any of the political party. Having said that, we're still going to look at the features of parliamentary system of government. You can see on the board that the first thing that we will do, there's what? Supremacy of the parliament. Parliament is the body of fundamental. Parliament comprises of what? Eminent people, eminent personality, whose job is to enact law. So, and parliament is the supreme body under parliamentary system of government. Unlike a presidential system of government, that in presidential system of government, remember, there's supremacy of the word constitution. But yeah, they operate what? Parliament. Then here too, the second feature, there is what? Unstable tenure of office. In parliamentary system of government, the government continues to be in power as long as the policy enacted carry people along and people supported his governance. It means that if the government has what? Credibility, it will continue to what? Steer the affairs of the state without any form of opposition. So, like in presidential, where we have fixed tenure of office, every elected office holder hold office for a period of 4 years, the presidential system. When parliamentary, it does depending on the leadership of the parliament or potential. If they are able to carry the people along, if they are able to enact good policy that enhances the standard of living of the citizenry, they will what? Continue to what? Get the support, the legitimacy of the what? Of the electorate. Having said that, the number three, well, there is collective responsibility. In parliamentary system of government, any minister does anything, act of omission or commission, it will affect the whole parliament, meaning the parliament will dissolve. Unlike in presidential system of government, if any minister does anything wrong, the minister will redeploy to another ministry or terminate his services. But in parliamentary system of government, it is not easy to apportion blame. There is what we call collective responsibility. If any minister does anything, hands must be on deck to steer the affairs of the state. They are not willing to commit any silly blunder, knowing fully whether the mistake of any of the ministers will affect the entire cabinet. So all hands seem to be on deck. There's element of concerted effort enacted by the what? Parliamentarian. Number 4, the Prime Minister is first among equals. The power, it is quite enormous. Hence, he's first among equals. Nobody can question his authority. Sometimes it could be dictatorial or it could be tyrannical by virtue of the power deposited in his office. But though he wouldn't want to, but the power deposited in his office can make it become a tyrannical or a ruthless leader. But in presidential system of government, the executive cannot become tyrannical because of the other organs of government. The executive, the legislature, make move forward. Impeachment procedure. In parliamentary, such device or course, vote of no confidence can be passed towards the dissolution of the parliament if they are not carrying the people along and the prime minister has become too tyrannical in nature. Are you getting it, please? Then we also have, look at it, number 5, the parliament can be dissolved, like I said, through a vote of no confidence. That is when the citizenry says that they are no longer interested. They are tired of the leadership. They are tired of the system of government. It has enacted a lot of hardship on them. And they are no longer willing to tolerate, to absorb, to accommodate such government that is quite insensitive to the plight of the masses. Then they can pass what is called vote of no confidence, meaning that they are no longer interested. They are tired. And such government will what? Dissolve. But in presidential, what they do is what? They use what? To remove the elected office holder. I hope you are getting. When the election is conducted, the party that lost in the election is called shadow cabinet. We call them opposition party. And the party will do everything possible to ensure that the ruling party fall. They will be praying for the downfall of the ruling party. And they will always counter any policy of the government, be it good or bad. They want to portray the government, the ruling party, as well. Group of, how do I call it? Group of unqualified, bunch of mediocres. Just like they will say that there's what we call a square peg in a round hole. A square peg means that people at the corridor of power are a bunch of idiots who have nothing to offer. So the ruling party, the opposition party will be praying for the downfall of the ruling party because they will call them bunch of mediocres or psychopaths that sing praises of the ruling party. So the opposition party will ensure, will checkmate the excessive abuse of power by the ruling party. And that's why we call them what? Assistance of what? Shadow cabinet. Shadow cabinet, just like they are what? Praying for the downfall of the ruling party. As soon as the party fall, they take over. So they are trying to act on what? Check. Remember what we said, in presidential system of government, there's nothing like opposition party, vibrant opposition party. Majority of the parties, they are not vibrant. They are only with the ruling party. But in parliamentary system of government, the opposition party hold enormous power. And the ruling party is wary of their action. They are very conscious that any mistake, any act of omission or commission on their part will lead to the dissolution of the parliament. Hence, they are very, very cautious, very, very what? Aware that the other parties praying for their what? Downfall. So there is a system of official opposition party. And this ensures that the ruling party put up credible acts, ensure that the people enjoy the dividend of their government, ensure that the people have freedom of expression, ensure that they enjoy all the necessary facilities that could make the citizenry to continue to support, to show allegiance to the ruling party. If such is omitted, if there is nothing like sense of togetherness, if there's nothing like bond, if government failed to carry the people along, it means that the party will be dissolved. The ruling party will be dissolved. They will what? there is the existence of carpet crossing. In parliamentary system of government, the members that lost out in the poll, they can easily switch their allegiance to another party once they promise them that elected post that they lost can be recovered there. So majority of the members of the ruling party can switch allegiance to opposition party once they promise them that they will give them a particular post. So that will call carpet crossing, switching allegiance in order to attain your political goal. In presidential system of government, we call it lobbying. When a member tries to lobby for posts that they do not merit, and we call them bunch of psycho vans. They sing insincere praises to people in the corridor of power, sing their praises. Number 9, there is the existence of coalition government. Now, coalition government is a form of government in which 2 or more political parties come together to form the ruling party as a result of absence of overwhelming victory recorded in an election. So if there's no clear-cut winner in an election, coalition government become inevitable, coming together of 2 or more political parties. But the bottom line of this is that the party coming together, they have diverse manifesto. Their political manifesto is quite different, and there's going to be element of incompatibility of ideas, and this can easily lead to political instability. So coalition government is not really encouraging because it breeds nepotism. Next one, the head of state performs ceremonial function. Why the head of government was perform executive function? In Nigeria party system in the year 1960 to 1966, in which Alhaji Tafawa Balewa became the first and only prime minister, while Nnamdi Azikiwe was ceremonial president of Nigeria then. Now let's look at the merits, the advantages of the system. One of the merits of is that it facilitates political unity. 1, 2, it reduces dictatorial tendency. Dictatorial tendency. 3, it enhances decision making. It enhances quick decision making. Quick decision making. It reduces unnecessary conflict between the executive and legislature. It's quite economical. System promotes transparency and accountability in governance. Now, we said that one of the merits of parliamentary system of government, 1, it facilitates political unity. Then we check it very well. Under parliamentary system of government, there is element of political unity because there is peace, harmony. Remember, members of the executive are called members of the legislature. So there's little or emergence of unnecessary argument or quarrel. 2, it reduces dictatorial tendency. We all know that the prime minister is first among equal. At the same time, there are rules and regulations that govern the power allotted to the war, the prime minister. So the prime minister cannot use his power arbitrarily. Otherwise, he will suffer what? Total rejection. So this thing curtail is what? Dictatorial what? Tendency. 3, it enhances quick decision making. Remember, in presidential system of government, we have 3 major organs. The legislature make law, executive implement the law, judiciary interpret the law. And sometimes they sometimes what is called unnecessary what? Rivalry. But in parliamentary, members of the executive are equally what? Members of the legislature. Thus, it save what? Time and energy. And there is what? Quick dispensation of decision making. So it enhances what? Quick decision making. That's the plus. It called there's what? It reduces what? Unnecessary conflict. It reduces what? Unnecessary conflict between executive. Remember, since the members of the executive, I call members of the executive, there is a keen sense of what? Bond, intimacy, togetherness. Because there seems to be element of understanding because they belong to the same caucus. Members of the executive, I call it what? Members of the legislature. So there's this harmony emanating from the union. So there's reduction in what? Unnecessary rivalry. Then another thing is that it is quite economical. Remember, in presidential government, there are several what? Attaché, party agent, party workers, people that work under a particular elective officer. They may have like 70 liaison officer, and they collect that one. Look at National Assembly. You know, we operate by camera under presidential government. The senator, the deputy senator, the speaker, the deputy speaker, we have 1 senator, 3 members, and they are going to be paid. They have liaison officer too, 17. So they waste a lot of money, human resources. But under parliamentary, it is quite economical. The next one, the system promotes what? Transparency, and that's it. It promotes transparency and accountability in governance. Because knowing fully well that if they're able to perform well, the people will give them what? Another what? Shot at power. Remember, it does not have a fixed term of office. So as long as the government performs extremely well, they will continue to give their what? Legitimacy to the government. So that is the merit. Let's look at the merits of the system. One of the merits of this is what? One of the merits. 1, incompatibility of ideas. 2, unstable tenure of office. 3, opposition party create room for manipulation of electoral results. 4, for the minister, the collective responsibility. The system is politically unstable. The prime minister can become autocratic. Now, so under the merit, there's incompatibility of political ideas. Remember what we said earlier on that if an election is conducted and there is no clear-cut winner, coalition government becomes inevitable. When we talk about coalition government, coming together of two or more political parties, these so-called two political parties, two or more, they have different political ideology or manifesto that are counterproductive. And when these people come together, there's going to be what? Incompatibility of ideas, leading to what? Political instability. That's one of the major disadvantages of the system. Two, unstable tenure. The system of office, meaning that they can be easily removed at any time once they fail to carry the people along. And that kind of system does not allow rapid development or economic growth of a nation. Because the government, they are the mercy of the world, the electorate. Three, opposition. The party that lost out in the election, shadow cabinet, they always pray for the world, the collapse of the ruling party. And this thing creates room for what? Manipulation of electoral results. And they can equally create room for what? Embezzlement of public funds, knowing fully well that the other party is working for their downfall. So you could trigger element of what? Embezzlement in the political office that those people are the corridor of power. Then the system is politically unstable. Like I said earlier on, the system is politically what? Unstable. That kind of governance is not stable, it's not fixed. It doesn't have a fixed term of office. So people don't really like the idea. The prime minister can become autocratic by virtue of the power deposited in his office. And remember also, it could lead to what? Enthronement of medical. Majority of the party, majority of the members are members of the ruling party. And this thing does not give room for what? Efficiency in governance. Because there are some members that does not belong to the party, that they are very good. But because they do not belong to the party, they may not be incorporated in the government. That's why they may not be incorporated in the government. And this system, like I say, leads to what? Enthronement of mediocre. Bringing people with low mentality at the corridor of power. They cannot perform to level of expectation. Hence, the result will become a total what? Fiasco, failure. These are the what? Negative effects of the system. Now, let's look at the what? Differences between presidential and parliamentary system of government. Differences between presidential and parliamentary system of government. Before we run out of time, let's quick check. Differences between presidential and parliamentary system of government. Differences. This marker is gone. In presidential system, the head of state is called the head of government. Why in parliamentary, the head of state is different from the head of government. From the head of government. You can see that we say that in presidential system of government, the head of state is equally the head of government. Why in parliamentary, the head of state is distinct from the head of government. The head of state, the parliament is what? Ceremonial president. Why the head of government is what? Prime minister. Number two, there is supremacy. There is the supremacy of the constitution. Under presidential system. Why in parliamentary, there is supremacy of the word parliament. Why by parliament is the supreme body. Why by parliament is the supreme body. You can see in presidential system of government, there is supremacy of the word. There is supremacy of the word constitution. Why in parliamentary? Parliament is what? Supreme body. Number 3, there is fixed tenure of office. There is fixed tenure of office under presidential system. In presidential system, why in parliamentary? There is unstable tenure. There is unstable tenure of office. Remember what I said earlier on. In presidential system of government, the elected office holder hold office for a period of 4 years, which is renewable. Why in parliamentary? There is unstable tenure of office. The tenure is not what? Stipulated. Number 4, the president can be removed through what? The president and elected officer can be removed through what? Impeachment in presidential. Why in parliamentary? The parliament can be removed through what? Passing the vote of no confidence to the parliament. Number 5, in presidential system of government, it is easy to apportion blame to the minister. Minister accountable to what? To the presidency. I mean, it's easy to apportion blame. There is individual responsibility in presidential. Why in parliamentary there is what? Collective responsibility. The minister cannot be what? Blame. The blame of the minister will go to the what? The entire cabinet. 6, there is a system of bicameral legislature in presidential system of government. By means what? 2 chambers. The upper chamber is called what? House of Senate, comprising 109 senator. While the lower chamber is called what? House of Representative, comprising what? 360 members. So in parliamentary, there is a what? Unicameral, 1 chamber. While in parliamentary, bicameral, 2 chambers. Another difference is that in presidential system of government, there is clear separation of power among the 3 organs of government: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. While in parliamentary, there is a fusion of governmental power. Members of the legislature are equally what? Members of the what? Executive. Number 7, there is absence of official opposition party in presidential system of government. While in parliamentary, there is what? Presence of what? Official opposition party, known as what? Shadow cabinet. Number 8, there is a system of electoral commission. There is application of rule of law. I mean, why in parliament there is absence of rule of law. Number 9, in presidential system of government, the president can appoint his ministers outside his political party. In presidential system of government, the president can appoint his minister outside his political party. Why in parliamentary, the prime minister can only appoint minister within his political party. Within his what? Political party. And that's leads to what? Enthronement of what? Mediocres, because he is not allowed to pick what? People outside. And that's quite counterproductive. In presidential system of government again, there's a lot of lobbying. Why in parliament there is what? A system of carpet crossing, switching allegiance from one party to the other because of elective posts. Another difference is that in presidential system of government, the president can, okay, I'll mention that one then. In presidential system of government, there is a system of electoral commission. While in parliamentary, there is absence of electoral commission. The last one, in presidential system of government, the president is both the head of state and head of government, meaning there is fusion of governmental power at the federal level. The head of state is called what? The head of government. While in parliamentary, the head of state is distinct from the head of government, meaning there is no fusion of power there. Fusion of power is only noticeable under what? Organs of government, under parliamentary. So you can see that in presidential government, the head of state is called the head of government, while in parliamentary, the head of state is distinct, different from the head of government. The head of state is ceremonial president, while the head of government is prime minister. In presidential government, I think that there is what? Supremacy of the what? Constitution under presidential. While in parliamentary, there is what? Supremacy of the what? Parliament. Number 3, we say in presidential government, there is fixed tenure of office. That is, every elected office holder hold office for a period of 4 years, which is renewable. Why in parliamentary, there is what? Unstable tenure of office. Number 4, I told you that in presidential government, the president and the elected officer can be removed. They can be removed through what? Impeachment. Why in parliamentary, the parliament can be dissolved through a vote of no confidence. Number 5, in presidential government, there is individual responsibility. Why in parliamentary, there is collective responsibility. Number 6, in presidential government, ministers are accountable to the what? Presidency. Why in parliamentary, the minister are accountable to the what? There's collective what? Responsibility to the parliament. In presidential government, there is what? 3 organs. Separation of power among 3 organs. Why in parliamentary, there is fusion of governmental powers. Members of the executive are equally members of what? The legislature. In presidential system of government, there is absence of official opposition party. Why in parliamentary, there is what? Presence of what? Official opposition party. In presidential government, we said there is a system of what? Bicameral legislature. Why in parliamentary, there is what? A system of what? Unicameral, one chamber of legislature. In presidential government, like we said earlier on, that the president is the head of his party. Why in parliamentary, the prime minister is first among equals. In presidential government, I told you earlier that there is application of rule of law. Why in parliamentary, there is absence of application of rule of law. In presidential government, there is the doctrine of check and balances. Why in parliamentary, there is absence of what? Check and balances. So that you can see that from what we have explained, you see that the two of them have their what? Pros and cons. They have their what? Advantages and disadvantages. Now, like I said earlier on, Nigeria has experimented with the two. We practiced cabinet system in the year 1960 to 1966. It was the military incursion to politics that put end to the First Republic under parliamentary government. And Alhaji Tafawa Balewa was the head then, remember? So it was that military coup, first military coup that brought in late General Aguiyi, led to the demise of the First Republic and the system, parliamentary system of government. Why the presidential 1999, 2007, 2011, 2015, 2019, 2023? That's what we're doing now. So you can see that we have treated presidential, and today we are looking at what? Parliamentary system of government. And we are equally showcase the differences between the presidential and parliamentary system of government. We said, if you remember, let me quickly reiterate what we treated today. We said parliamentary system of government is a system of government in which the head of state is distinct from the head of government. The head of state performs ceremonial function, while the head of government exercises executive power. And I told you Nigeria practiced this system in the year 1960 to 1966, in which Alhaji Tafawa Balewa became the first and only prime minister. It was the military incursion into politics that brought an end to the First Republic. And I said in other countries, they operate with a monarchical form of government. What they call it? United Kingdom. The two example country practice of parliamentary system of government. Austria, king or queen. Now we said under the feature of parliamentary system of government, there's what? Supremacy of the parliament. Parliament is specified the fundamental law that must be governed by that must be adhered strictly to by the what? Citizenry. 2, we talk about under parliamentary system of government that the head of state is different from the head of government. Number 3, we said there is fusion of governmental power. Members of the executive are equally members of the legislature under parliamentary. system of government. In parliamentary, we call it about there's what? Unstable tenure of office. The government continues to enjoy the patronage, the legitimacy of the people, as long as they are able to carry the people along and they are able to put smile on the face of the what? Electorate. Another feature of parliamentary system, okay, that we said that parliamentary system of government, the prime minister is first among equal. The prime minister is what? First among equals. And no power has been deposited at his what? Enacted or showcased by virtue of the parliament. Another feature that I told you that is that we said that the prime minister can only appoint minister within his political party. And there is also what? Assistant or what? Shadow cabinet. I told that shadow cabinet simply responsible for what? For the downfall of the ruling party, because they are watching the policy, the governance, praying for any mistake or slip so that they will attack them. And once they go against, it means that it will lead to a dissolution of the government, while the shadow cabinet becomes the ruling party. Another thing, under parliamentary system of government, I will talk about a system of coalition government. If an election is conducted and a clear-cut winner does not emerge, coalition government becomes inevitable. And when such occurs, it will lead to what? Incompatibility of ideas, because two or more political parties coming together with different or diverse political manifesto, it will lead to what? Political instability. At this junction, I'm afraid we're going to call it a day. So we're going to meet next week. Next week, we are going straight to federal system of government. So thanks. So if you have any question next class, quickly prepare your question before we start the class. Have a nice day.